So today we're going to dive into another gaming metaverse play that I think is going to be fun to watch and also understand kind of how it might play into the whole play to earn universe. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Tech Bath. Today we're going to dive into Big Time. Big Time, the game, is an interesting project. There's a lot of, obviously, a lot around it in terms of how the project itself is going to explode, I think, onto the metaverse and also into the play to earn category. And of course, it is led by an absolute rock star team, including the co-founder or one of the co-founders from Decentraland that has moved over and launched this project, along with a stellar team of what I think could be one of the most interesting teams out there in terms of game development. Now, Big Time is a sponsor of this episode. One thing, though, is that whenever we do these kinds of reviews, I usually take these only when it's something that I'm truly interested in, which I am, as you guys know, in gaming. It will not and does not sway my opinion in any way. I look at it. Our team, our producers go in and vet these, and then we dive in a lot deeper on how this project comes to play. And of course, today we're going to go into the details of maybe how Big Time could be something for you to get into in the future, and also understand how you're going to make money in it, what is the investment opportunity, all those kind of things. We're going to break them down today. Let's get into some of the details of it first, and that is, of course, Big Time launching their marketplace. They've got a lot of these elements that are rolling out in the month of December and coming very fast. So as you see this video, things could be already transpiring unless you're catching this really early. And of course, the element around the metaverse, if you think about what Facebook did in October of converting to Meta and really going all in, what it showed was that we are seeing a massive adoption in traditional companies, major companies, that understand the power and the need for what we're about to see in terms of a revolution in and around Web3. Web3, if you're new to our channel, is kind of the evolution of where Web 2.0 is and has been for quite some time. And that is the e-commerce ecosystem of Web 2.0, the traditional AAA gaming of Web 2.0, all of those aspects that you recognize on the internet every day today is Web 2.0. And in reality, you've got a whole technology stack developed around that for over a decade, and it's a very mature environment. The difference is it's not completely integrated into blockchain, and I think that will be the major killer app of Web3, hands down, of where we're going to see all of this really kind of evolving into the future, especially in the play-to-earn category. And the other thing around that, when you think about play-to-earn, is the fact that there are different models in which play-to-earn can be done. There is the Axie Infinity model, which is you would buy Axies, you build a roster, you've got maybe you're going into a guild or into a scholarship program and you're playing for someone else, earning a Smooth Love Potion, that token that is the ecosystem of Axie. Maybe that's one of the routes. And then you have Sandbox. Sandbox is another big project that has been kind of evolving and has a lot of similarities. And I want just to jump to kind of the successive one, because I think this is where Big Time will be in a very short period of time when they launch their alpha, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you look at where Sandbox has come right here, just in this year, currently trading at $5.18. But if you look at the all-time, I mean, you can see Sandbox back here at literally at 59 cents. And the growth of where this project has come is pretty amazing, and rightly so. They've launched their alpha program. Let me kind of just jump onto their program here. This is their alpha, so I'm in the alpha project itself. And they have this component called alpha passes. They're a little pricey, but it does give you access into the metaverse of Sandbox individually. And that's where there's some similarities to what Big Time is doing around their whole ecosystem. I want to jump to Big Time's early access pass drop, which is now live. This is a good example of these VIP access passes that are being built within the Big Time ecosystem. There are some other elements, and we'll get into that and dive into each one of these as we go into understanding how you're going to make money in this. But the VIP passes, just so you guys are aware, you can actually go in and buy these now. And one thing to be cautious of and be aware of is a good example of right here. Let's say you wanted to buy the Jade VIP pass. This is currently trending at $835. Some of our researchers have said that this at one time was like $200. So you can already see the value has increased with every pass that's sold. So if I wanted to go in and select and buy this, you can kind of see right there, I want to buy pass 386. That's the one I'm going to go. I'm going to go to buy now. Now, if you've added funds and you can do this through USDC, I would be cautious because understand that when you move USDC into this, like right now I have a balance in here of like $780. But if you move USDC into this, right now there's no way to offload it. So you have to spend it on the project. So what I would recommend is use the credit card feature, pay the fee there, don't get the USDC fee that you might get for transferring out of your exchange, and then also getting your funds into the big time system that maybe or not you want to grab more passes, things of that nature. I would just stay on the credit card for now until all that's worked out, I think, in terms of how this is going to roll in the future and where value is going to start to roll out. I want to jump to this first Medium post was really to explain the economy of the big time token, and because they've got a lot here that's happening within it. One thing that they're doing is this whole thing around a thing called space NFTs, and which is basically it's going to give players and guilds to essentially enable them to expand how they're going to interface to the game itself. So think of this in a way that maybe a guild or you as a player that you've bought space when space NFT becomes available on the marketplace, or a guild that's buying a lot of space, and space at that point, which you have to have in the ecosystem to play the game. There's many little elements within the game that you need to actually transact within it, and value of space is going to continue to rise because it's such a, one, scarce, beautiful, and capable, and that's in the play to earn economy. And then two, it gives you kind of this gateway into the aspect of the game itself. And this, of course, is going to be holding, they've got a sale coming up very soon on space and where you'll be able to get to it. You can kind of see the diagram here of how and what you're going to be doing. So these are the steps that you want to jump into if you're going to go into the game, and eventually this alpha rolls out, which we anticipate early 2022. One, acquire space in-game or on the marketplace. You'll need the tokens and space are intrinsically linked. In order to get started, you'll need to acquire space in your Pocket Universe. That's kind of the game infrastructure that you have within Big Time. And then place a timekeeper portal, which you're going to, and place a timekeeper portal. Number two, you've got to unlock the timekeeper in the game or buy one on the marketplace. So again, the economy is built around, just like what you saw a second ago on the VIP passes, is the marketplace itself. The marketplace, much like what, if you think about it from a sense of maybe Vivi and how their marketplace has exploded, the difference there is it's tied out to a Comey and how that might become valuable in these elements. And that's exactly the thing that's happening with Big Time, is all of these NFTs will start to increase in value. Space NFTs, VIP passes have already shown how you can increase those. Timekeeper acquisition. Number three is you're acquiring an hourglass in-game from a guild or on the marketplace. So you get the hourglass. Gathering tokens requires the use of a special in-game known as an hourglass, which means if you're going to grab the tokens, you need one of these to play as well. And we'll also have the option to buy an hourglass from the marketplace or borrow one from a guild. So if a guild is playing, and I anticipate we're going to see a massive move on guilds coming into the big time ecosphere and really become a big part of how these things are going to be rolling. And again, if you haven't watched or understand what a guild is, check out our video on the gaming guilds, because it's everything from Yield Guild Games and many others that you can look at and understand how the guilds are actually playing across the metaverse in a variety of different games, in a variety of different digital assets. It's a pretty interesting business model, I think, if you really look in deep to it. Number four, with the hourglass in hand, you'll go hunt for tokens in the game. If you're properly equipped, players now can receive those tokens as they battle dangerous enemies. So you get all that great value there. One thing, though, that is very clear is the tokens will be highly sought after inside the game commodity, and we want to make sure that everybody gets that fairly. But to that end, there will be no initial offering for pre-sale of the token to anyone. So including the development team, meaning that the tokens will be 100% community driven, and the primary way to acquire tokens will be to play the game. That's a big, big element here that is different than most other, I won't say most other games, but the big games that are rolling out there right now, like Axie and Sandbox, etc., those are moving on to a token ecosystem and then a play-to-earn ecosystem, kind of like Axie and Sandbox, as I mentioned. So that's one big, powerful move that I think is, to me, I like, because this is going to create tremendous value in the NFT ecosystem within Big Time, and it's going to create a massive community around Big Time itself, just because of the guilds and also because of the players that are looking to increase value in all of these assets, including things like space. So if you're watching Big Time, the next thing I want you to be aware of is the space NFT. That's going to be the next big drop from Big Time in their marketplace, and I think that's where you're going to really start to see the valuation start to become understandable, and how the NFT ecosystem will really begin to play into how you can profit on a play-to-earn game like this. Let's jump over to the Big Time NFT market space. This was our marketplace. This was their story. They have a really good blog that I would recommend over on Medium, because it really gives you kind of an overview of everything that's happening. But one thing I wanted to highlight right here is this right here. So you can buy and sell, trade NFTs freely within the Big Time marketplace without having to manage a separate wallet. That's really cool. However, for experienced users who prefer to hold custody themselves, withdrawing your goods from the vault, which is what's going to hold all your assets, is easy as sending them to your own wallet address. So funding is streamlined. Big Time marketplace accepts debit and credit, which I think is the biggest killer app right here that makes this so mainstream, meaning anybody with a credit card can jump into this marketplace. And I think that is a big factor versus connecting a wallet via MetaMask or Coin or Trust Wallet, or whichever wallet you might use. That scares a lot of people off, number one. And this was a note that someone was tweeting to me the other night, and they said, Connect Wallet is one of the worst terms for logging into a website, because it just has that personal invasion of connecting to your bank account, your wallet, which in essence it is. So I think whoever cracks the code on ease of access to get to mainstream is going to win. And I think what Big Time has done here is they've really kind of cracked the code on how to do that. So the marketplace will accept debit and credit cards, wire transfers, Ethereum, Bitcoin, USDC, which we've already seen the USDC right there in the example I gave you. Once you're ready to check out your payment, basically you're in. So that to me is a huge differentiation in how this is going to play out. The other big factor that makes this so unique, this project, this game so unique, is its tech. So this is an article on the Tech Spotlight, which they call procedurally generated goodness. And there's some cool elements here. So if you followed the game landscape the past few years, you've likely, you can kind of see here, run across procedurally generated, or ProGen for short, which is a technology. And what can it do? Basically, Big Time has chosen to kind of go this route, but it's basically changing environments on the fly. So you look at this scenario right here. Generated dungeons are made up of smaller building blocks. Think of this like Legos. This is really where every engagement can become something different. And to me, it has a lot of AI elements, meaning it's almost like Matrix. It repaints the scenario based on what's happening within the procedurally generated algorithm. So there's a lot there of how this works. The algorithm determines how these rooms are assembled according to a predetermined set of rules, hence Matrix is I keep referring to. And then right here is a cool little element right here. They're exploring ways to use ProCgen tools to enhance gameplay and storytelling beyond just map layout. So this to me is where the team, the tech, and the gameplay come together. When you have that kind of forethought and insight into trying to recreate the game, not the game ecosystem, but the environment in which the game is building, it becomes almost like a living, breathing thing in the sense that it's never the same, has a lot of algorithmic elements in it when you're using technology like this. All of that plays into what could become a massive, highly addictive game for playing and doing play to earn. That's the key with the next level of games that are coming out of blockchain. You've got to be able to get these to an addictive level. If you want players to come in, if you're trying to invest in this as an NFT or a buying space or getting in other NFT assets and all the elements within the game ecosystem, you're going to need that addictive quality that AAA gaming has been able to crack for years. And now we've got a team that is rolling into big time with some massive leadership, I think, that's going in that direction. So it has all the tools and all the recipes are put together for an unbelievable experience. What looks to be, could be one of the best games out there in the metaverse on play to earn that we will see in the near future. And I think with the fact that they're continuing to expand this tech, this is only going to get better. It's going to be really cool. I want to jump over to their website real quick, .gg, and just to give you kind of a look of what's happening here, and you can kind of see the environments. We'll show you some B-roll of a lot of what they're doing, but I would follow the blog heavily, and that's this right here. You'll just jump right here. You can kind of get right into their Medium, and if you guys are on Medium, just click over to the big time tag, and you'll jump right into all the updated materials. So right there is the early access passes that we're dropping this week. Doing great. The enemy spotlight. Behold the underlings. These again are going to be the characters within it. And you can kind of see if you want to keep up with it, this is the way to do it. And I would recommend going that route. All right, so let's look at it this way. If you look at the play to earn ecosystem and what Big Time is doing, it is a different capacity. What you're doing here is building assets, NFT assets. And that is the collectible side of it. And that really is kind of the differentiation. But if you look at how this is going to work in terms of, one, the marketplace, and remember, many of these projects, these projects are rolling out at the scale in which they're rolling out right now. There are, in some cases, some speed bumps in it, like the situation that I had with USDC and buying with a credit card when I bought a VIP pass. So just be aware of those kind of things as it grows and as it rolls out. A lot of these things, be patient. I think there's a lot here for the future of how, blockchain gaming in general is going to go into the universe. And we talked about this on the channel a lot. Next year, absolutely, I think we're going to see so much movement in the space of blockchain gaming, you will not even recognize it compared to what you've seen this year. All right. We're going to get on to some other gaming topics for sure on the show here. Make sure and give us some likes and let us know if you like these kinds of topics. If you're over on the podcast, make sure and jump over here to the YouTube show because this is the place where you get all these great graphics. You'll get the breakdowns, the analysis, all that kind of stuff. Make sure and of course subscribe there. If you want to reach me, you can just hit me up on Twitter @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.